well, I was going to say he's going to be heading into the Tour Championship
he's not
leading the FedEx Cup, but
Well, that means nothing.
yeah, it's a bit of an odd one. It's a bit of an odd one. I mean, we'll talk about going over to Atlanta next week, but the FedEx Cup, which has been ongoing now for how long? How long's the FedEx Cup been going on for? It must be a good 10, 15 years.
Yeah, it's a while.
And the whole idea was to originally, back in the day that I can remember, was to give a little bit more impetus to season-long performance. The whole point of the FedEx Cup originally was to reward consistency and to give a huge end-of-season bonus to the player that performed the best throughout the year. Now, the way that was done, every time you go play an event, you get ranked on your performances, you get points, which adds up to the Order of Merit, and then the leader of the Order of the Merit at the end of the year would win the FedEx Cup. Now, with the Tour Championship, the idea was that was going to be a very weighted event. So if you won that event, there was more chance of you finishing top of the Order of Merit, getting the FedEx Cup, being crowned the best golfer on the PGA Tour, and all the rest of it. And it's morphed.
Yeah, they've tinkered with it a lot, and then ultimately landed on a straight shootout where Akshay Bhatia at 30th could conceivably win the FedEx Cup.
So he did get in the end.
Yeah.
Fantastic. It's a bit of an odd one because the FedEx Cup playoffs as well have been events which you've been whittling down the fields until 30 players remain going into next week. But because this ranking doesn't really matter anymore, because what used to happen, for the last few years, is the top player would start, I think, on 10 under par, and then second would be on 8 or 9, and then it'd be ranked down to give them an advantage to reward that consistency throughout the year. And now anyone in the top 30 can win the Tour Champs and win the FedEx Cup. It seems a weird way to do things.
I'm a bit sort of mixed because I don't think I liked the advantage that they were doing in previous years where they'd be a 10 shots ahead or whatever, because it kind of just makes that whole event a bit of a waste of time. Because if Scotty's 10 shots ahead, he's not going to lose, is he?
But there's probably not.
No, but there's better ways to do it in the sort of the original way, which was just weighting it harder so that it's just Scotty. You walk into a tournament, Scotty 10 shots ahead. Why are you even watching it?
So one of the issues that the PGA certainly felt that they had is that during the dominance of Tiger Woods and during that era, he always won the Order of Merit because he was so good throughout the year that no one could catch him. And therefore, the Order of Merit was really decided, with a few events to go. So the only thing that was worthwhile winning was the Tour Championship, and that was almost a separate event. But it very rarely had any impact on what the Order of Merit finally was. But at the same time,
that's fair because he was the best.
At the same time,
it might not be the most exciting thing in the world, but it's fair.
Well, it now feels like this isn't. We're not talking about an Order of Merit anymore. We're not talking about a system or a tour that rewards and shows who the best player is over the course of the year.
Yeah.
This is just a straight shootout of 30 players. Now, you could say that Scotty's the best, he's still going to win. But now Rory took off the first FedEx Cup playoff event because he was in second. He was always going to be second going into this event. So what was the point of him playing? It doesn't make any sense. And I understand why moving the season for a start, it's earlier now, so it doesn't interfere with the American football when that comes on in September. And it's been, I think, overall viewership wise, it's starting to work, even though the numbers still aren't as big as they used to be. But it wasn't really broken.
Yeah, they just decided to tinker too hard.
In any season-long event, in any season-long process where you're looking to establish who the best players are. If you're looking at football, soccer, you're looking to establish who the best team is throughout the year. Yeah. Now, if Liverpool, if Arsenal, if United, no, that's never going to happen. If they win the league with 10 games to go, it might take the impact out of the last few games, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't reward them for having a really good season. That doesn't make sense. And I think the FedEx Cup has fallen into this little bit of a weird arena where they're so desperate to make sure that people watch because things matter in this final event, that you've taken away all the necessity apart from getting into that final 30.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't make other events meaningless, far from it. You know, there are singular events within the season that players still want to win. But it also takes away any real impetus for players, I said that word like 6 times now, for players to play some of the lesser events.
Yeah.
To build themselves up the order of merit.
Well, it's kind of a very an American thing. It's like a sort of playoffs in basketball or Super Bowl, like all that, isn't it? It's like throughout the year you play 82 games like in basketball and you end up in a ranking system. But ultimately it doesn't really matter because the 8th seed can still go and win that you can take games off and you can do all that because ultimately it only matters at the end. Whereas in the UK, like football and other sports, it's more sort of weighted to the consistency kind of side of thing, which doesn't produce that final blowout sort of one winner takes all moment at the end, which is the clickable thing.
Yeah, and you're right, and I do understand that argument, but if you're looking at a tour and the way that tour golf has been structured for pretty much its entirety, it's not about a final blowout. If it coincides,
I'm not saying it should be.
Yeah. I mean, if it coincides that the Tour Championship just happens to decide who wins the Order of Merit,
then great.
And there is drama and there is something crazy going on, then great. I mean, that might only happen maybe once every 8 years, but it means that one year.
Yeah, it's like a huge year and a huge moment.
Is incredible, and people will remember it. And I just don't feel that people are actually massively engaged with what the FedEx Cup was meant to be about. Because, again, we've said it so many times on this podcast, and by what you guys have said, I know a lot of you guys agree. And please, if you don't, get down to those comments or messages on social, whatever you want to do. But the whole point of the FedEx Cup is to just funnel a large amount of cash into the players at the end of the year based on how well they've been performing, and general golf fans aren't asked about
money,
about massive amounts of money going to players. It's great for the players. It's unreal. Like, getting money is a wonderful thing to do when you get paid for doing your job, but it doesn't matter to the golf fan.
But then they've also got like the PGA Tour has its like impact payments as well. So it's like even the money to them isn't that meaningful in that moment, because Rory, if Rory wins the Order of Merit FedEx Cup, he'll still get, or if he doesn't, he'll still get a 20-30 odd million payout from just being an impactful personality,
presence on the tour.
So it's like he's still not like, if I don't win this, I don't get all this money. It's like whatever. It's like Scotty now, he wins so much, and it's like it's all sort of said and done, and it becomes less impactful.
Yeah, and it's just not like winning the Tour Championship, winning the end of season event. Like, that should be a thing in itself.
Yeah,
that should be something to be celebrated on its own. But like we said, the PGA Tour want to try and make this last event exciting, but I just don't think this is. I don't think this is working. I might be wrong. Yeah. This might turn out to be the best tournament that we've ever seen.
But do you, as a player, if you're going to find more meaning from a season-long victory where you've grinded out every week and you've racked up all these points and you've come out on top at the end, you're going to find way more meaning in that than a one-off event at the end of the year that you just happen to win.
Yeah, but for players, like, apart from Scotty and maybe Rory, for example, like, winning the FedEx Cup is still a massive payout. It's a ridiculously large amount of money.
Yeah.
Now, if you're coming into this week 25th and you happen to win, that's amazing for you. Yeah. And I'm sure the fans...
But you don't think that you're the best.
Yeah, no, but so that's what I mean. The Order of Merit kind of is meaningless.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But the FedEx Cup and the way this is structured, this was never actually about the players. This was about trying to make it more entertaining for fans and to try and make it more engaging.
Yeah.
And I just don't think it's really done that.
It's not worked.
No. Oh, well, in my opinion, anyway. So get down to those comments. If you are watching us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe if you're listening on your favourite podcast provider. Make sure you give us a 5-star review and just, talk to us.
Tell your friends.